What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And guess what? Game journalists are lying again. That's, of course, the primary reason I call them game urinalists and not journalists. If you're not from the United States, a urinal is something that is in a men's room that you relieve yourself into. And that's why where I would put most game journalism articles in the toilet, because ultimately they are clickbait, rage bait, or anti-gamer, and rarely foundationally built on fact. Crunch, for example, is another hot topic, especially for Jason Schreier. It's basically the only articles he writes anymore about video games. And I've been kind of avoiding reading about Cyberpunk 2077 because I just want the game so bad. And every time I read about it, I get reminded that it's still several months out. Well, 2 months out now. And I just wanted to get here already. I almost got hyped out, right? It feels like we're forever removed from the great Keanu Reeves reveal. But that's neither here nor there. One of the few platforms you're not going to be able to play Cyberpunk 2077 on, at least right away, is the Nintendo Switch. But if you have a Switch, you need to get this Zen Grip. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Satisfy, the makers of the brand new Zen Grip Pro. Now, I've had my Switch since about launch, and I've never used a grip on it. In fact, here it is. But what the Zen Grip Pro offers is amazing. It adds a ton of comfort regardless of your hand size. Let's take a look at what's inside the Zen Grip Pro bundle, which, by the way, will make a great Chris's birthday gift or a gift to yourself. Inside their case, you open it up. You've got spots for all of your games. Now, you could just get the grip if you wanted. But if you take the actual grip out, what you see on here is a lot of silicone on the back. So essentially your Switch will float on that. So no plastic on plastic touching. It slides in super easy, and it's in there. Like, it does not come out once it's in there, and it is infinitely more comfortable. And they gave me a special discount code, which will be in the pinned comment below. You can save 10% off. Not only support the channel by getting yourself an awesome new grip for your Nintendo Switch or one for your friend or family member, but you'll also be supporting the channel and a sponsor. And I'm excited to announce that Satisfy has rolled out a brand new, beautiful Zen Grip Ice Edition, which is available for pre-order now. So check out the Satisfy, either the Zen Grip Pro, or if you have a Switch Lite, they also have a controller. Link in the pinned comment below. Pretty nice sponsor transition. Nonetheless, I appreciate those. If you have a Switch and you don't have a grip, I'm really happy with mine. It's actually changed the way I play my Switch. I'm able to play it longer with and I have these big claws, so it's nice to have something to make it easier to grip. So about a month ago, good old Jason Schreier, who really only writes about crunch these days anymore. And honestly, what is crunch? Well, it's overtime to the extreme. And I know I have a lot of video game devs that watch my videos, and I'm sorry if I seem insensitive, but it's because of these journalist articles that I am. Like, I just don't care about crunch anymore. Look, if a company is treating their employees terribly, I support the employees. But the way these journalists write these articles, you think everybody's sitting at their desk having to, like, relieve themselves into Dixie cups and getting no bathroom breaks and, and all this stuff. It's not the reality of it. And every time you have a big title coming out, everybody tries to attach their particular agenda with that name. Cyberpunk will be exactly the same when it releases. You're going to see all sorts of feminism and cyberpunk articles, and you're going to see socialism and cyberpunk, all these ridiculous reaches just so they can include cyberpunk in their title. So Schreier writes this article on and on and on, which is essentially just a tiny group of unsatisfied people. Then that gets picked up by Kotaku, and even yesterday on the day after, Cyberpunk 2077 devs break promise, will force employees to work 6 days a week. Force employees 6 days a week. Remember that title, force employees to work 6 days a week. Except that's a lie. And then this article, just on the 7th, again, this is all these clowns write about. The Cyberpunk 2077 crunch backlash, misinformation and fandom warp the public's perception. Well, this is the same outlet that wrote that CD Projekt Red will force employees to work 6 days a week, right? Or that was on The Verge. Sorry. Well, the reality is Cyberpunk employees, CD Projekt Red employees voted. They had the option to extend the game another 6 weeks or work 6 days a week to get the game done. They overwhelmingly voted in favor of finishing the game. And the game journalists wrote these hit pieces, and it affected them so negatively that they were actually afraid to celebrate the game going gold. If you look at this article, Cyberpunk 2077 crunch backlash. In late September, Bloomberg reported on changing working conditions at CD Projekt Red. Intellectually, most people would probably agree that the idea of crunch, which refers to periods of intense and extended overtime, is bad. We agree. I don't think that short periods of overtime is bad, though. Workers should be fairly compensated for their time, and we agree. The thinking goes, and they shouldn't be stretched so thin that they risk burning out. Well, sometimes that's a reality, but yeah, good leadership should try to avoid this. Now, and yet, the gaming industry has seen multiple reports from other Bloomberg and former Kotaku colleague Jason Schreier about poor working conditions at so many major studios that it feels like fans have normalized the concept. Well, no, it's just, look, we all have to work overtime. You know how many of my viewers have to work 80 hours a week sometimes? Like, it's just, why are these people who sit in air-conditioned offices with ping pong tables and arcade games and you know, all the free Red Bull? I'm sorry, but a lot of people that view my videos that are custodians, or they work in construction, or they're masons working in a 100-degree sauna, or roofers, they just don't care. That's the reality. That's the blind spot that a lot of these elitist journalists have. Now, in a recent YouTube video recounting Bloomberg's reporting, many of the comments make comparisons to other worse conditions, or they'll note that if mandatory overtime is paid, then it can't be that bad. What a cruel world, one comment reads, being employed during a lockdown where thousands of people are being fired every minute and being paid extra hours at the office. I agree. The YouTuber who created that video, Yang Ye, a far leftist, by the way, ended up acknowledging in a comment that the video is getting a lot of flack for holding CD Projekt Red to any sort of standard. Mandating crunch after promising not to is simply not a good look, and sustained crunch should not be normalized as necessary to make games. Well, the thing is, again, they voted to work this overtime. The top comment in response to Yang Ye's message, CDPR is our Lord and Savior. There are a number of negative responses to both Yang on the video, along with Schreier's reporting. The first result you get back when you search Cyberpunk Crunch on a YouTube video titled Worthless Media Attacks Cyberpunk 2077 over Crunch. You are worthless. I mean, let me be very clear. I think Polygon and Kotaku add no value whatsoever. And again, another article talking about crunch in a negative light, clickbaiting to include Cyberpunk 2077 in the title. But again, what if I told you in a video evidence exists from an actual reporter from Game Informer who talked to the CD Projekt Red employees? They said that they were legitimately afraid to celebrate online because of these articles that CD Projekt Red wrote. And that's heartbreaking. You could see Sophia Narwitz saying, notice how most major gaming websites and other YouTubers within the clique, James Sterling's, for example, all reported on crunch with an agenda-driven slant. None of them actually getting to the bottom of the story. It reminds me of the Ion Fury debacle. Good on Game Informer, though. CDPR did consider delaying again, but mass majority of developers supported the extra day for 6 weeks. I mean, what else do you want? Then you have Jason Schreier getting butthurt. A Game Informer podcast recently suggested that my reporting on Cyberpunk 2077 crunch is incorrect. Never mind that I've interviewed nearly a dozen CDPR devs, almost a dozen out of thousands. Here's an email from studio head Adam Badowski on June 20th apologizing to developer partners for all the overtime. That doesn't really prove anything. This is nonsense. You want proof? Here's proof. Again, if I could wish for anything, I would humbly ask you to endure in the effort to deliver the game. I would also like to ask you to extend an apology to your partners and ask for support as well. Dear partners, I'm fully aware that the hard work of your loved ones often means they cannot participate on the home front, but I promise this last stretch is the finish line is near. That's 6 weeks. It's 6 Saturdays. Who cares? Again, Game developers are no different than anybody else who works. And then you see here, Liana Rupert saying, again, the context, not there in the tweet. This is why I don't do a lot of quote takes on Twitter. Too much nuance gets shelved. Too much context gets lost. This is disappointing to see, from Jason Schreier. And then Schreier responds, a company embracing crunch culture doesn't make it evil or malicious or an industry villain, but I've seen so many people jumping through hoops to try and deny and underplay the reality the way they're doing CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077. To Liana replying, I've never seen someone jump through as many as you do when looking to misrepresent situations. You know exactly how you worded this tweet, and you know it doesn't align with what was said. Not sure when you became a bully, but it's a real shame. You are so incredible. Absolutely brutal. And this is, of course, the reporter from Game Informer who spoke to actual employees at CD Projekt Red who shared their opinions with her. And it's interesting. To be fair, I'm sure that there are companies, there are companies that crunch is taken advantage of, but this just wasn't the case. This was a case of absolute thirst for clickbait. You can see CDPR developer on recent crunch report. Some people want us to be bad for their narrative. I can only confirm what Adrian wrote. Even if it comes to the situations he described, my experience shows that game developers have a relative solidarity in this respect from top to bottom. Regardless of the position taken, I must disappoint you. Game development managers are not proverbial capitalists, exploiters who count on money while smoking a cigar from time to time, glance at the oppressed developers, however picturesque this vision sounds. In response to a user was skeptical of the claim that CDPR shares 10% of its yearly profit with developers. It was replied, Sespenkowski, CDPR has been sharing profits for a long time, on time, and without excuses. Maybe it's with laughter through tears. Seriously, I have the impression that some people prefer us to be bad just to have a foundation on their ideological narrative. Essentially, CD Projekt Red employees BTFOing this report. And again, this video by Liana Rupert, her interview sharing, saying that she spoke to them and it was just not like that. They willingly participated in said crunch. It's ridiculous. Dishonest clickbait game journalism again from one of the worst at it, Jason Schreier. You can watch the entire video here on Legacy's Twitter handle or on the Game Informer show with somebody who actually says it. You can see dude has done some legit great stuff, but has become so hung up on his agenda that he's going to start discrediting himself. So now wherever he finds a legit issue, people are just going to roll their eyes, crying wolf. So CDPR consulted their workers about doing an extra day for 6 weeks, and people acted like CDPR was the second coming of the hankety clankety guys regime for nothing. Exactly. And here Colin Moriarty, wait, you tell me Jason Schreier wrote a flimsy, ideologically driven story about game labor? I can't believe that at all. Everyone at CD Projekt Red is really going to hate their 5-figure bonuses for working 6 extra days. They're probably all crying as we speak. Just another hilariously dishonest game journal exposed. Thank you so very much for watching this video. And by the way, I'm pushing hard to reach 1 million subscribers by Christmas. I'm 420 away from Friday's goal, today's goal, and I hope that I will have earned your subscription. I cover video games, I cover movies, tech, censorship, YouTube, almost everything I cover here on this channel, and I hope today will be the day I earn your subscription. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.